Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Shri Prasanna Venkatadasa Gurubhyo Namaha. We bow down to Prasanna Venkatadasaru and seek his grace in understanding the Narayana Panjara. The Narayana Panjara is like a kavacha for us. And the moment we start chanting Narayana Namo, and recollecting his glories in his various avatars, and also associating them with his gunas, which is the name, like the Ananta gunas of Paramatma are described by the word Narayana itself. At the same time, Narayana also means who is the Ashraya, who is the shelter for the Naras. So those who are associated with Narayana, he becomes the shelter for them, which he showed in the Krishna Avatara. He gave shelter to those who sought him. For example, the gopis, they sought his shelter when the rain started storming on them due to Indra's wrath. That time, what did he do? He did the most impossible thing, which we would not conceive of. He just took out the Govardhana Parvata on his smallest finger and he held it up. And not only that, for 7 days continuously, all the Gokula Vasis, including the animals of Gokula, they were sheltered under that Govardhana Parvata with food and water completely. They did not even need it, they say. They needed no sleep or water or drinks, like usually what we need. So that is the shelter that he provides. There's no want at all. There's lack of want and lack of fear. And there's a samruddhi and paripurnata for that jiva who is graced by Paramatma. That is shown in that avatara. And in many other places, when all the fire was completely surrounding the people, that time Paramatma just swallowed the fire. After all, he gave birth to fire from his tongue. In everyone's tongue, there is fire. Agni is there, and that's why we are speaking. So this Agni was taken back into his tongue, taken temporarily. It is nothing much for him. Everything belongs to him. And that's why he is called as Adi Devaya Devanam Pataye Saditaraye Anadya Jnana Paraya Namo Varavarayate. Narayana is done as the stotra of Narayana is done by Sri Acharya Madhva in this Dwadasha stotra, where he says, you are the beginning of everything. So even if Agni wants to do anything, even if water wants to do anything, they have a beginning for that. Is the beginning is you. You gave them the charge to do it. The Agni can heat, Agni can give light, and Agni can gobble up anything that comes in its way. And that is because you are the one who did it. So you are the one behind that. Deva means you do it as a krida. For you, there is nothing which is very difficult. There is nothing which you need to do, yet you do it. No, that's why you're called as Deva, Adi Deva. So anything is having its cause in you is Adi Deva. And Devanam Pataye, you are the master of all the devatas. Any Brahma, Vayu, all the devatas are obligated to you and they perform their work or duties as per your wish. And you are such who knows you as that. What do you do? Anadi Ajnana Paraya. Whoever knows Paramatma, knows means not as a word to word meanings or as an understanding which is being told, but internally by experience, when one can feel this, that he is the Adideva, that he is the Devanam Pataye. All these things were felt by Prahalada Rajaru, and he was not tainted by the fire. He was not drowned by the waters. He was not hurt by the trampling of the elephant or even by throwing the wave from the top of the mountain, whatever, because they knew that he is the Devanam Pataye. All the Devatas were given the charges of doing whatever they had to do, like the Bhumi Abhimani falls on when the masses of earth fall on someone, then they suffocate. When anyone falls into the water, then they drown. These kind of things never happened to Prahalada because he knew that Adi Deva, this Adi Deva Paramatma, Narayana Namo, he was chanting that all the time and he was continuously thinking about this. That he wills it, then it will happen. If he doesn't will it, nothing will happen. So that is the grace of Paramatma's being in the shelter of Paramatma and understanding him. Unless you understand his actual potency or his powers, then how are you going to surrender to him? So that is the requirement is there for us to chant with the knowledge. With knowledge, if you chant, then that knowledge will help you to be of complete surrender to Paramatma, to give, to keep your mind in full faith that he will come to the rescue. And I think faith is like the string which is attached to that saving grace of Paramatma. Once, if the faith string is cut or if it's very loose, then it fails to bring you that grace of Paramatma. Whereas Prahalada's faith string was very, very strong. He never had a chance to fall at all, because at all times he was in complete faith of Narayana's grace. He never had one doubt also. And he was ready, like, if Paramatma wants me to die in the water, I am ready for it. If Paramatma wants me to be trampled by the elephant also, I am ready for it. But we don't have such a kind of strong faith, and that is the reason we are not able to access that grace of Paramatma. So in order to strengthen that string of grace, which is very, very light, we need to contemplate more and more about those who were saved by Paramatma, and that's what is given in Narayana Panjara. Again and again they repeat to us different stories of the grace of Narayana, because Narayana means who is that person who is capable of helping you. Why is capable? Because he is having Ananta Kalyana Gunas. Kalyana Gunas means Mangala Gunas. Those gunas which can set you free. Those gunas which can save you. Those gunas which can bestow whatever you need at whatever time you need. And that the requirement for all this is to understand the truth, and that's it. He does not expect you to do anything. He does not expect you to build one big temple for him or do the puja and worship him in that temple. What he says is that understand that everything comes from me. Adi Devaya Devanam Pataye Saditaraye. And I am the Bhoktru of everything. Ahami Sarva Yajna Bhoktaram. So whoever you serve anything, understand that it is me who is taking it. With the knowledge of the person being there as a jiva, inside that there are devatas, and inside that there is Paramatma. He is the one who is accepting it. So doing that, what happens? The anadi ajnana. Anadi means there is no beginning to this ajnana that is covering the jiva, that is in the linga sharira. So this anadi ajnana will be removed for you. So why is this necessity for us to understand this? Because the Narayana Panjara is based upon Acharya Madhva's teachings. So whenever I start any explanation of any verses here, I would like to go back to Acharya Madhva's sayings. What is it trying to tell us? So we need to get away from Ajnana. We need to get away from bondage. So what should we do for that? We should understand his Adi Devaya Devanam Pataye. So here that is told to us. So Ashwatthama was the Amsha of Rudra, is the Shiva. Shiva itself was born to Drona as Ashwatthama. But Ashwatthama at that time, he was having he was covered with one kind of moha, and he wanted to finish off the Pandavas. The Pandavas were the prana of Krishna itself. He says to people that mama prana hi Pandavaha. So I love the Pandavas so much. Why does he love the Pandavas so much? Because Pandavas, they were of complete devotion to Paramatma. So he loved them. And so he was ready to do anything for them. So whatever is Paramatma's icha, if that person is in that mode, then Paramatma is also in that mode of saving him. What may ever come, let it come. So here what happened? The Pandava's sons, they were finished by throwing the fire. Ashwatthama did that. But the only one scion of the Pandava lineage was in the Garbha of Uttara Devi, the wife of Abhimanyu. And so she was running from that Brahmaastra which was chasing her. And she was shouting Krishna's name. And Krishna came right there and he saved that small fetus that was inside. That is what is now told here in the 20th verse. Let us begin our Chintana now. Narayanaya Namo Narayana. Narayanaya Namo Narayana. Naradara Mukadinda Narakastara Ebbisida Narayanaya Namo Narayana. Abhimanyu Atmajana Basurolage Salahidayo Narayanaya Namo Narayana. ಅಭಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಪಾಂಡವರ ಸಂತತಿಯ ಬೆಳೆಸಿದೆಯೋ ನಾರಾಯಣಾಯ ನಮೋ ನಾರಾಯಣ. Abhimanyu Atmaja, Abhimanyu's son, was Basurolage, means he was in the Garbha of Uttara, his mother, and there itself Paramatma saved. So we see here he has no boundaries. Narayana means who has no boundaries. So do we, in our world, do we have anyone who can save someone who is in as a fetus inside? The doctors can do whatever they want to try to save the fetus, but at unless and until God's grace is there, it cannot happen. That the doctor itself knows, and in his instincts. That is why they make the parents of that unborn child to sign a certificate or a, what to say, an indemnity form saying that the doctor is not responsible for anything that can happen. Untoward events can happen because it's not in our hands. That is known well by everyone, even science, and anyone can accept that. So who is the one who has no boundaries, who can say that I will save when if I wish to do it, I can do it? The only one person who can say that is Narayana. And Uttara Devi was lucky enough to know that. So her moha, maha moha and all are destroyed. She knows that who is my savior. I will follow. I will run towards him. And she physically started running towards Krishna. And she was shouting his names, Krishna, 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 Anatha Rakshaka, Krishna, Pandava Bandho, Krishna. And Krishna came and he entered into the womb and he removed the Brahmastra's heat was just trying to burn the baby. But Paramatma managed to roundly, he was running around the fetus, and it is said that the baby in the fetus was looking around at that form of Krishna which was round, moving around, and because he was moving here, there, his eyes, they called him as Parikshit. Parikshit. He was born and he fell dead, but Paramatma breathed life into him. That is his capability. He can do anything, and that is his boundlessness. Narayana is capable of it. So, what is our duty? What is our we have to do it is that we have to surrender to that Narayana, knowing this, that he is capable. And that's why the Shabda itself starts Narayana. He is capable. Abhayadali Pandavara Santatiya Belasdiyo. Not only he just saved him, he gave him the place where he can. Abhayadali, he was able to live. Means he did not live in fear. Parikshita, after he was born, he never lived in fear. He lived in a peaceful environment. And his child, Janamejaya, also lived in a peaceful environment. So they are saying, Abhayadali Pandavara Santatiya Belasidiyo. You allow them to live and to be brought up in a very secure environment. Such a Narayana, I bow down to you. Then he says in the 21st verse, Garuda Gandharva Kinnara Gita Samprita Narayanaya Namo Narayana Garuvela Kumiya Kuda Kridadriyali Iruve Narayanaya Namo Narayana Garuda Gandharva Kinnara Gita Samprita. So he's telling about the different people who sing Paramatma's grace. So Garuda is the person who is called as the Veda Purusha in the Shastras. So what does he do? He is the one who carries the Veda to the devotee. Because Veda Purusha is the one who enables us to do a thinking, a thought processes about any word. Shabdartha Mathana is done through Garuda. So Chanda Purusha is Shesha, Veda Purusha is Garuda. He acts in the Manomaya Kosha. And so that Garuda sings whatever he tells you that you sing. If you are a composer of a music, then Garuda's action is seen behind that. And the action of any song, once the words have come, then they have to be strung into with music. And that is done by Gandharvas and Kinnaras. They sing whatever verse is coming out, that has to form into a lovely string of words which can sound musical when you hear it. So those kind of stringing is done by the action of Garudas. Garudas only do it for the Gandharvas and Kinnaras do it for any musician. They are there inside and they help you to organize this. So Garuda Gandharva Kinnara Gita Samprita. You are very much happy to receive the Gitas, means the songs which are glorifying you, and you become pleased with those devotees. So here Garuda's Gita, then the Kinnaras and Gandharva's Gita are all coming out whenever there is anyone singing about Paramatma. Only through these people, this channel, the Gita can come out in a form that will please Paramatma. That means we have to understand when we are singing itself, when we are composing itself, that we are not the sole composers. We are not the independent people to do everything. Whatever we are doing, we have behind the Bembala or the support of all these deities who have been put in their place. Well, what they have to do. Adi Devaya Devanam Pataye. So remembering that if we can sing the songs of Paramatma, then he is pleased. Suprita. He is completely pleased and he blesses the devotee with whatever he wants. Narayana, Namo Narayana. Then he is saying, Garuve Lakumiya Kuda Kridadriyali Iruve. You are always um, sporting with Mahalakshmi. And because he is sporting with Mahalakshmi always, he is always embracing Mahalakshmi. And she is always there in his Hridaya Vakshasthala itself. When we think about the Dwadasha Stotra, Vande Vandyam Sadanandam Vasudevam Niranjanam Indirapatim Adyadi Varadesha Varapradam Namami Nikiladisha Kirita Grishtapitavat Khrittamana Shamane Arkabam Shripate Pada Pankajam. Here Acharya's almost every verse in this shloka has a reference to Shri. Lakshmi Devi's Indira Patim, Shri Patim, Shri Nitamba. These things are all told. Means she is embracing she's sitting on his lap, she's embracing him, she's in the chest. All these things are referred because Paramatma is doing the Krida with Mahalakshmi always. What does he do is very well explained by Jagannath Dasaru. He says, ಭಾರ್ಯರಿಂದೊಡಗೂಡಿ ಕಾರಣ ಕಾರ್ಯ ವಸ್ತುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರೇರಕ ಪ್ರೇರ್ಯ ರೂಪಗಳಿಂದ ಪಟತಂತುಗಳ ಓಲಿದ್ದು ಸೂರ್ಯಕಿರಣಗಳಂತೆ ತನ್ನಯ ವೀರ್ಯದಿಂದಲೇ ಕೊಳುತಿಹ ಅನಾರ್ಯರಿಗೆ ಈತನ ವಿಹಾರವು ಗೋಚರಿಪುದೇನು. So he is saying, ಭಾರ್ಯರಿಂದ ಒಡಗೂಡಿ. Who are his bharyas? Means Sridevi, Bhudevi and Durga Devi. With these three people, what does he do? They are the same Lakshmi Devi only in three forms serving Paramatma. They are not three different people. They are the same people. Three people are the same one Mahalakshmi who takes three forms to serve Paramatma. She controls the three gunas. So what they are saying is here, you are always in the Krida with that Mahalakshmi. So when the world is there existing, that time the three gunas action are always happening. Everything is controlled by the three gunas action. And that is the Krida. According to the will of Paramatma, that is one of the Kridas that we can think of. When you're talking, then what is the talk that is coming out of you? If it is a Sattvic talk about Paramatma, then it is the Krida of Narayana and Sri Devi. If you are shouting at someone, then it is the Krida of Narayana and Bhudevi. If it is no talk is coming, just laziness and sleep, then it is Narayana and Durga Devi. So these different ways of understanding the Krida of Paramatma that is going on continuously. Remembering that Paramatma and his consort, Sri Mahalakshmi, as being together always. That is what is also told by Acharya Madhvaru, that at all times and places, Shri and Narayana are together. There is no time or place when Shri is separated from him. That is one important prameya of Acharya Madhvas, which is also indicated here. Garuve Lakumiya Kuda, Kridadriyali Iruve. Always you are at the heights of the Krida with Lakshmi Devi, he says. Narayanaya Namo Narayana. Shanka Chakra Gadamja Sri Vatsa Shobitane Narayanaya Namo Narayana. Sanke Rahita Nabharana Bhushana Avyakritane Narayanaya Namo Narayana. Shanka Chakra Gada Abja. So these are the Ayudas of Paramatma, Shankha, Chakra, Gada, Padma. Abja means Padma because from the water it's born. And Abja is many things can mean, but here we mean lotus. So the Shankha, shell, Chakra is the Sudarshana Chakra, then the Gada is his is the big mace that he has, and the Abja. So these four are Paramatma's Ayudas when he takes the Chaturbhuja form. And in Srivatsa Shobitane, Srivatsa is the Mahalakshmi's Chinha that is there in his chest. He is Shobitane means he is completely looking very, very marvelous, looking very, very handsome and full of valor. So these four ayudas of Paramatma, they give us, when contemplated on, the Shanka bestows good knowledge, the Chakra keeps us safe from our enemies, the Gada, internal enemies, which like Kama, which can destroy us. That is also kept in its place by the Gada, Indriya Nigraha, they say. And then Abja is the lotus, which gives us the mental peace by which we can contemplate on Paramatma's gunas. And Mahalakshmi, Srivatsa, she is always there. We remember the song in Tamil which says, Kurai undrum illai. Unmarvil Mahalakshmi, Irkin Rai. So, Mahalakshmi is there in the chest of Paramatma. Then why you have any Kurai? After all, Kurai means to have some kind of lack. But that lack is not there because you are having right in front of you Venkatramana and in his chest, Sri Devi. So if you are thinking Sri Devi is the mistress of all the wealth, then you are having Venkatramana's grace, you will be bestowed. Why do you have to worry? So we don't have any kind of lack. Everywhere we think about this Narayana and Lakshmi together, you are blessed with prosperity. Sanke Rahita Abarana Bhushana Avyakritane. So he is saying that think about that form of Narayana and understand that he has countless abharanas. Abharanas means those things which we use to decorate ourselves, like the necklace, the earring, the nose ring, the head attire, whatever. But Paramatma is countless, he says. But the funniest thing he says is that he is Avyakrita. Avyakrita means which is not having any form, formless. So what is this who is having no akriti or form, then how can he have countless abharanas is a question that we have. This is what we have to understand about Paramatma is that if he wants a form, he brings the form. He is formless if he wants to be form. I mean, at all times he has forms and he is formless also. Is there, because his form is not made of this Panchabhautika things. That is the stula body that we have is made of the mud, water and air. And of course, fire and Akasha also contribute to it. But Paramatma's form is not like that. So he is called as Avyakrita. At the same time, if he wants, he can do it because he is Sarva Samartha. The devotee wants to do the Upasana of Narasimha, Prahalada, and finally he sees him in the form. He can't tell, oh, I'm formless. How can I show you? I'm formless. He can't. That will be a disability. But he is not like that. He is completely full of auspicious attributes and he can do anything. Kartum akartum anyata kartum shaktaha is what the scriptures tell about him. He can do anything what you imagine, what you don't imagine also he can do. So thinking about his greatness as anything that can be desired by the devotee, he can grant. So same way, what does he do? He takes on a form for the sake of the devotee because devotee cannot think about the formless God. Can we think about it? When we think about any space, we don't get any ideas about how to do the upasana. So Paramatma in the Agamas itself, there is a Shastra for doing Shilpa Shastra. So in the Shilpa Shastra, it is told how one has to sculpt the form of Paramatma. And that sculpting is done according to the instructions there, then the form looks very beautiful. And that form has to be used for contemplating. And these ayudas have to be understood there. The abharanas also have to be understood. But one thing has to be understood. That's why he says avyakrita. When we think about a form, we have a boundary. But here, Paramatma is boundless. When we say four ayudas, does it be he has only four arms? No, because he showed his thousands of forms when to Arjuna itself during the when he was in the Mahabharata war. He showed it twice, once in the Vishwarupa Darshana to in Duryodhana's court, he showed it to Dhritarashtra. Later on to Arjuna also. So his form is of any number of arms that we cannot imagine also. But whatever form he wants, he can take. And that is what is indicated here. So when we contemplate, let us contemplate on the Chaturbhuja, which here Prasanna Venkatadasru has told. And with the Chaturbhuja and the Srivatsa, he is completely beautiful. And you think about all the ornaments that you can use to decorate him. So he is saying that Sankhya Rahita means there is no count. Okay, I put one necklace for Srinivasa now. I don't have to put any other thing. You put any number you want, he says. There's a lot of space for that. The bigger the murti, you can put more and more ornaments. You can have a necklace, you can have a long hara, you can have a big hara, you can have a kasin sara, you can have a diamond necklace, you can have anything that you want to decorate Paramatma. And that's why he's saying there's no count. And all these diamonds, all these things which we can think of are all Panchabhautika. But Paramatma's ornaments as such, they are not Panchabhautika. They are of the form of Mahalakshmi herself. So the gunas of Paramatma, we have to contemplate along with the ornaments. When we contemplate about the neck ornament, we can think, oh, Paramatma is the one who Udgiryante Nishamyataha. All the time he is singing the glory of the Vedas, Anisham, all the time. He is always singing the Vedas. The Vedas proclaim the truth, the one and only truth, the one and only person who is supreme. All the jivas are his dasas. They are only sustained or even aware of their own presence because of Paramatma's grace. Knowing all these things, they become an abharana. A decoration for Paramatma is his gunas only. But gunas directly, instead you can have a diamond necklace, and in the diamonds you can have the gunas of Paramatma. So Prashna Venkatadasaru is giving us one picture of that Narayana now. So far he gave us Narayana Namo, Narayana, bow down to him, and he gave us the avatars. Avatars, and in those avatars we thought about so many different actions, and those actions, what do they imply about his gunas? Now he's saying, I'm giving you a form. Think about that form as Narayana, who is having Chaturbhuja and Trivatsa Chinna, and who is decorated very beautifully with a wonderful kirita, with earrings and other things, which you can imagine to yourself. And these are all actually his gunas. So his kirita signifies his supremeness. So among these among the padyas that we have studied itself, we have come across the supreme qualities of Paramatma. Put them in the kirita. The same way we see about all the different kind gunas of Paramatma, which we can put it in the necklace. See all the places where Paramatma was called upon by the devotees to come and rescue them, that you can put it in his ears as the big, big dangling earrings. So these different things that are told here, we have to join them together and understand the implication. Prasna Venkatadasu Ishta Devata was Venkateshwara Swami, and Venkateshwara is Narayana, and he must have been thinking about that Venkateshwara when he told about this Shankha Chakra and Gadabja. ಶ್ರೀವತ್ಸ ಶೋಭಿತನೆ ನಾರಾಯಣಾಯ ನಮೋ ನಾರಾಯಣ. Asankyatavada abharanas are there which can decorate you, because this asankyata is also signifying the boundlessness of the gunas of Paramatma. And the boundless gunas of Paramatma itself are the abharanas here that we have to contemplate on. And then we bow down to him, saying that you are both form and formless. Formless because you are so vast and you are not having any Pancha Bhautika form. You are formful because you can do anything that you want, and every form of yours is Jnana Ananda Maya. It might be a tiny infant, it might be a Vishwarupa, it might be just a Chaturbhuja or a Krishna with two hands. All the forms of yours are Jnana Ananda Maya. To that Narayana, I bow down. Narayanaya Namo Narayana. Shri Guru Antargata Bharati Ramana Mukhya Pranantargata Shri Lakshmi Narayana Preranya Lakshmi Narayana Prityartam Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Hare Srinivasa.